begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 3, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Text 21. Tata saptadashe jata satyavatyam parasharat chakre vedataro shakha drishtva pumsolpamedhasaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Srila Suta Goswami continued, thereafter, in the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Sri Vyāsadeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Parashara Muni, and he divided the one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Originally, the Veda is one, but Srila Vyasadeva divided the original Veda into four, namely Sama, Yajur, Rug, Atharva, and then again they were explained in different branches like the Puranas and the Mahabharata. Vedic language and the subject matter are very difficult for ordinary men. They are understood by the highly intelligent and self-realized Brahmanas. But the present age of Kali is full of ignorant men. Even those who are born by a Brahmana father are, in the present age, no better than the Shudras or the women. The twice born men, namely the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, are expected to undergo a cultural purificatory process known as samskaras, but because of the bad influence of the present age, the so called members of the Brahmana and other high order families are no longer highly cultured. They are called the Dvija Bandhus, or the friends and family members of the twice born. But these Dvija Bandhus are classified amongst the Shudras and the women. Srila Vyasadeva divided the Vedas into various branches and sub-branches for the sake of the less intelligent classes like the Dvija Bandhus, Shudras, and women. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, in this chapter, we are discussing about the various incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Suta Goswami is now talking about the 17th incarnation in this present list, and this is Srila Veda Vyasa or Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva, here it is said, Tata Saptadashe Jataha, Jataha Satyavatyam, Jataha, he was born, Satyavatyam, in the womb of Mother Satyavati, and Parasharat, he was begotten by Parashara Muni. So the father is Parashara Muni, the mother is Satyavati. And this is Srila Vyasadeva. And what did he do? Chakre Veda Taro Shakhaha Drishtva Pumsaha Alpamedasaha. He saw that people in Kali Yuga are going to be Alpamedhasaha. That means they are going to be less intelligent. They will not be able to understand or grasp the subject matter presented in the Vedas. Therefore, what did he do? Veda taroho shakhaha chakre. He divided the Vedas into many branches. Shakha means branches. Taroho means tree. The Vedas are often compared to the tree, Kalpataru, Nigama Kalpataro Galitham Palam. We read this in the very beginning of the Bhagavatam. Nigama also means the Vedas. So the Vedas are compared to a huge tree, and Vyasadeva, understanding that in the Kali Yuga, Drishtva Pumsaha, people in general in Kali Yuga are going to be Alpa Medhasa. They're going to be less intelligent, and it will be difficult for them to grasp the subject matter of the Vedas. What did he do? He actually divided the Vedas into many branches. We have the four Vedas: Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. So these four Vedas are actually classified by Vyasadeva. Originally, the Vedas is one. There's only one Veda, and that one single Veda was divided by Vyasadeva into four Vedas, and then further there was more division of the Vedas, right? So uh, here it is mentioned that Vyasadeva did this for the sake of Alpa Medhasaha, the less intelligent class of people in the Kali Yuga. Let us try to understand more about the Vedas and also about Srila Vyasadeva. So the Veda means, the word Veda comes from the root word with. With means to know. So Veda means the book of knowledge, the storehouse of knowledge. The Vedas themselves mention Anantahi Vedaha. The Vedas are unlimited, and whatever is available currently, it is a limited version of the unlimited Vedas. The knowledge pertaining to the Supreme Lord is unlimited because the Lord Himself is unlimited. His activities are unlimited, but the unlimited Lord makes Himself available to us uh, so that we understand Him. So, a little bit about Him is revealed in the Vedas. It is not possible to completely describe entirety of the Lord and His qualities and activities. It is not possible. So, but at the same time, it is important that human beings in the earthly planet or in this material world should become aware about the Lord and about our relationship with the Lord. Therefore, the Vedas are compiled. The Vedas are directly the word of the Lord. These are revelations by the Lord Himself. And these revelations of the Lord, they talk about three important aspects: Sambandha Jnana, Abhidheya Jnana, and Prayojana Jnana. Sambandha Jnana means the knowledge pertaining to our relationship with the Lord. Who am I? Who is God? What is our relationship with God? This knowledge, this science of relationship between us and the Lord, that is called Sambandha Jnana. After understanding the Sambandha, the relationship with the Lord, the next is how to achieve that uh, loving relationship with the Lord, how to become established in a loving relationship with the Lord. What is the process for that? That knowledge pertaining to the process is called as Abhidheya Jnana. And then, after practicing the process, what is the ultimate goal of practicing the process of devotional service? And that knowledge pertaining to the ultimate goal, is called Prayojana Jnana, the ultimate purpose. So, Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Prayojana. These are the three broad aspects of knowledge that is described in the Vedas in different ways. Now, the Vedas are also uh, having three important divisions or kandas, they are called. Kanda means divisions: Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and Upasana Kanda. Karma Kanda means the this is the major part of the Vedas. Karma means fruitive activities. Since majority of the people in this material world, they want to enjoy the fruits of their own actions. In order to encourage them to practice Vedic principles and to gradually bring them to the platform of self realization, the Vedas talk about various ritualistic ceremonies which have to be performed in order to attain greater degrees of material happiness and enjoyment within this material world. So, those sections of the Vedas which talk about the various rituals and functions or rites that have to be performed in order to increase one's material enjoyment, they are called as Karma Kanda sections of the Vedic scriptures. So, in the Karma Kanda sections, for example, there are various yajnas described: Agnishtoma yajna, Vajapeya yajna, Rajasuya yajna, Ashwamedha yajna, and many such yajnas. And these yajnas, when they are performed, the Vedas promise that one gets a higher status of material life in the next life, in higher planetary systems, with a longer duration of life, with a stronger body, with greater sensory power for material enjoyment. These are all promised as a result of performing such yajnas. For example, if one wants to go to the higher planetary systems like Swargaloka or beyond that, then one is recommended to perform Agnishtoma Yajna. By performance of Agnishtoma Yajna, one can actually get residence or entry, or one can actually become a resident of Swargaloka with a long duration of life. So, why these allurements are presented? Because, as I said, majority of the people in this material world are karmis. So, if they have to be brought to the point of uh, ultimate self realization, they have to be brought through the allurements of material enjoyment. So, that is the strategy of Srila Vyasadeva. Therefore, he has in detail described various karma kanda rituals, karma kanda yajnas, and vratas and processes. So, that is karma kanda, which is about 99% of the Vedas. 99% of the Vedas are full of karma kanda rituals. Now, when one repeatedly performs karma kanda rituals, accumulates punya, gets a better human life or a demigod life in the next birth, and gets more and more facilities for sense enjoyment. And when this happens many, many times over a period of many, many lifetimes, when one goes through, one repeatedly gets higher and higher sense enjoyment, and finally, after many lifetimes, a thoughtful person will feel, what am I doing? For some temporary pleasures, I have to work so hard and perform all these Vedic rites and rituals. And even though I get birth in higher planetary systems and I'm getting to enjoy higher standards of sense gratification, but I have to die. I cannot escape this death or old age and disease. So this is this is going to be there always. Is there a way? Is there a way to become free from this temporary cycle of getting promoted to higher planets and enjoying greater sense gratification and again dying, again taking birth to perform Vedic rituals, accumulating punya, again going to the higher planets and again exhausting the punya? So, is there a way out of this? Is there something beyond this temporary sense gratification? When one thinks that in this way, then one comes to the Jnana Kanda section of the Vedic scriptures. So the Jnana Kanda section of the Vedic scriptures primarily comprises of the Upanishads. The Upanishads come under the Jnana Kanda section. So the Upanishads are all about uh, higher knowledge, knowledge superior to the Karma Kanda rituals, the knowledge pertaining to Atma, the soul, knowledge pertaining to the Paramatma, the supreme soul, the knowledge pertaining to the process, how the Atma can get connected to the Paramatma. All this is actually the subject matter of the Jnana Kanda section of the Vedic scriptures, the Upanishads. Now, the Jnana Kanda section presents an impersonal understanding about the supreme absolute truth. Even though there are Upanishads such as Ishopanishad, which present the personality of Godhead, but by and large, the Jnanakanda section emphasizes on the uh, impersonal aspect or the Brahman realization. Therefore, those who practice the Jnanakanda section of the Vedic scriptures, they are called as Jnanis or Brahman realized personalities. So, they why uh, why Jnanakanda section emphasizes on the impersonal aspect? The reason is understanding the supreme personality of Godhead is not so easy. First of all, the students of Jnanakanda are actually graduates from the Karmakanda. For many, many lifetimes, they have cultivated fruitive desires, fruitive mentalities, and their heart has become stone like because of repetitive fruitive activities. They're always in the mood of what I can get from it, what is there for me in it. That is the mood of the karmis. So now they have come to the Jnana Kanda because of frustration in satisfying their material desires. Even though Karma Kanda rituals are true, even though they get so much of material sense gratification in the Swargaloka and higher planetary systems, in higher forms of life, but still there is insubstantiality. They are not fully satisfied. They are repeatedly frustrated. Therefore, they are thinking something beyond the Karma Kanda rituals. Now, for such people, if directly the knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is revealed, they will not be in a position to appreciate the personality, the form of the Lord, and his personal features and activities. Therefore, initially, they are told about the impersonal aspect of the Supreme Absolute Truth, which has no form, which has no qualities, which is simply all spiritual. So the idea is to draw their attention that beyond this temporary karmakanda rituals and temporary sense gratification, there is an unchanging eternal truth, and that is called Brahman. Just to draw their attention towards this reality, the impersonal understanding about the absolute truth is presented in the Upanishads. Now, after cultivating this impersonal knowledge, speculation for many, many lifetimes, when one is actually uh, fortunate, one comes to the understanding about the supreme absolute truth, Vasudeva, as Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Uh, After many, many lifetimes of cultivating impersonal knowledge, uh, one comes to the understanding that Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabhaha. Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter. After many, many lifetimes of understanding the absolute truth in its impersonal form, when one uh, becomes a jnani, when one actually gets the right understanding, that he comes to this conclusion that Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. Vasudeva is everything. Krishna is everything. That such a person is very, very rare, Krishna himself says. Durlabha, is very, very rare. So one comes to the Upasana Kanda of the Vedic scriptures. In the Upasana Kanda, the focus is the personal form of the Lord. And of course, there is the description of the personal form of various demigods as well in the Upasana Kanda. Principally, five personal forms are described in the Upasana Kanda of the Vedic scriptures: Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, Surya, Ganesha, and Durga Devi. These are the five personalities. Panchopasana, it is called. Panchopasana. So, the impersonalists, they worship these one of these five forms. They say that right now, because we are all embodied souls, we need a form to focus our mind. We cannot focus our mind on the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth. Therefore, we need some form. So, therefore, they say you can choose to meditate on one of these five aspects of the absolute truth. They say that these five aspects are actually the aspects of the impersonal absolute truth. You can either imagine Lord Vishnu form, or Lord Shiva, or Durga Devi, or Surya, or Ganesha. You can imagine any of these forms in the beginning. And when you realize that you are Brahman, then you don't have to focus on any of these forms. You yourself become that Brahman. This is their philosophy. That means they do not have faith in the personal form of the Lord or any of the Devatas. They only conveniently accept these forms just as an object of meditation in the beginning, and they say that when you become mature, you need not focus on any of these forms. These forms are all Maya, material. That is what they say. So ultimately, their understanding is to merge into the absolute truth. So that is the impersonal understanding. But when one is truly fortunate, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bija. When one is really fortunate, one actually is saved from all these kinds of impersonal philosophies, and one comes to the bona fide spiritual master. By the blessings of such a bona fide spiritual master, who is a pure devotee, who is a sent person, surrendered soul at the lotus feet of Krishna, one begins to render devotional service to Krishna. So, even though one may study the Vedas, it is not guaranteed that one actually comes to this understanding that I have to render service to Krishna. Because the Vedas are very vast, the, the processes recommended in the Vedas are too many, the philosophies are simply uh, very, very bewildering, and not everybody can actually understand the ultimate purpose of the Vedas. Ultimate purpose of the Vedas is to understand Krishna. As Krishna himself says in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyam. The purpose of studying all the Vedas is to understand Krishna. If one studies the Vedas and if one does not come to the point of understanding Krishna, then all his study of the Vedas is of no use. It is simply a waste of time. So there are many Vedic scholars like that who have actually studied the Vedas. They can recite all the Vedic mantras. They are very expert in performing the Vedic rituals and sacrifices. They are even expert in the process of speculation about the impersonal absolute truth, but they don't understand the personal form of Krishna. They don't accept the personal name and form and activities of Krishna. So, such people, they are really unfortunate. They are unfortunate. So, unless when one comes in touch with a bona fide spiritual master, it is not possible to understand the true meaning or the essence of the Vedas. That is why it is said, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Only One who is guided by a bona fide spiritual master can really understand the purpose of the Vedas. And the purpose of the Vedas is to surrender to Krishna. The goal of human life is to render devotional service to Krishna. So Vyasadeva has compiled all this Vedic knowledge. He has divided them into various sections in order to cater to different classes of people. Just like in a school, there are different divisions, isn't it? Class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, etc., to class 10, class 11, class 12. Even though in all these classes, maths is taught, science is taught, but the maths and science that is taught in each of these classes, each of these divisions, they vary uh, in complexity. It is not the first standard class, first standard mathematics is not same as the eighth standard mathematics. Eighth standard mathematics has far superior concepts uh, than what is taught in the first standard, isn't it? So, in the same way, because there are various types of gradations of living entities in this material world, and not everybody is in a consciousness to directly take up devotional service and surrender to Krishna, in order to bring every living entity of different category, of different kind of consciousness to the path of gradual purification, Vyasadeva has compiled the Vedas and Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda. All of these are various sections which are created by Vyasadeva in order to gradually guide a soul to the ultimate goal of life, which is to come to the point of complete surrender to the Supreme Lord Krishna. Another important aspect of the Vedas is the Vedas talk about four Purusharthas. Purusha Arthas. Purusha means human beings, Artha means goals. So Vyasadeva talks about the four goals of human life through the Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, and Mahabharata. So, what is that? Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. These are called Chaturvidha Purushartha, four kinds of perfections, four goals of human life. Dharma means to follow the codes of conduct given in the Vedas, to execute the religious ritualistic performances recommended in the Vedas. That is called dharma. And what is the purpose of executing this dharma? The purpose is artha, to accumulate wealth, to become economically developed. Because unless one, to sustain the body, to sustain one's family, one needs wealth. Without wealth, it is not possible to sustain one's livelihood in this material world. But in order to attain that wealth, you need to follow the process of dharma. When you follow the process of dharma, the devatas or the law of karma will bestow upon you the various requirements of your life. In this way, your artha is solved. So, dharma for the sake of artha. That's the general understanding of people in this material world. And then, why artha is required? For the sake of kama, the third purushartha, for the sake of satisfying one's senses, for the sake of sense gratification, right? So, if one wants to satisfy one's senses, one needs food, one needs various other luxuries, one needs house, one needs family, and all these things. In order to maintain all of these things, in order to procure all these things, one needs artha. One needs artha, and this is going to result in satisfaction of kama or sense gratification. And when one is frustrated in sense gratification, when one thinks that so much I have tried, but still I am not satisfied, my senses are not satisfied, then one thinks of moksha, how to get rid of this material life altogether. And generally, this understanding of such people is to merge into the Brahman effulgence. That is their conception of moksha. So, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. These are the four purusharthas. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that these four purusharthas are not the ultimate goals of human life. Real purpose of human life is to achieve Krishna Prema. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called this Krishna Prema as the fifth Purushartha, the ultimate Purushartha, which is superior even to moksha. Premo Pumartho Mahan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. This is the Panchama Purushartha, the fifth or the ultimate aspect, ultimate goal of human life is to love Krishna. So one need not actually, a person who is actually got the proper understanding about Krishna consciousness from a bona fide spiritual master, he need not bother about going through this gradual process of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, because one directly is engaged in devotional service to the Lord. Engagement in devotional service to the Lord is greater than liberation itself. This we have to understand very carefully. Pure devotional service begins after liberation. That means pure devotional service is superior to liberation itself. So when one is actually uh, guided by a bona fide spiritual master and one has got the proper understanding, one has got the process of devotional service, then he is supposed to be uh, actually liberated. This is what is quoted by Srila Rupa Goswami. Iha yasya harer dasye karmana manasa gira nikhila nikhilashu api avasthasu jivan muktasa uchyate. If one simply dedicates his life, uh, his speech, his actions, his mind, always in the service of Krishna, then such a person is called a Jivan Mukta, a person who is liberated even while living in this material world in a material body. So, our Krishna consciousness process is actually not the traditional Vedic process in the sense that you perform some rituals, accumulate punya, go to higher planetary systems, and when your punya is over, again come down to lower planetary systems, again perform karma, again go back to the higher planetary systems and enjoy. And when you're repeatedly frustrated like this, then think about merging into the Brahma Jyoti. Now, all these things are not required. And this much time is also not there with us in this Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is a very dangerous situation. So we don't have that much time to go through the gradual traditional Vedic process of gradual purification over a period of many, many hundreds of lifetimes. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in this Kali Yuga and he said, you simply chant the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And simply engage in devotional service to the Lord. You simply do this and you will attain perfection in this very lifetime. In this very lifetime. Srila Prabhupada also says this many times. You just chant Hare Krishna mantra, be in the association of devotees, read my books, and cultivate Krishna consciousness. In the association of devotees, you serve the Lord, and at the end of this very lifetime, I will take you back to Godhead. So this is Prabhupada's promise. So this Krishna consciousness process is the shortest cut. It is the escalator method. Prabhupada also gives this example. If you want to reach the top floor of a building, there are two ways. From the ground floor, you take staircase, that is one step at a time, you climb, and you reach the top floor gradually. Or you take an escalator, a lift you take. When you take the lift quickly, within few seconds, you will reach the top. So, Krishna consciousness process is the essence of all the Vedas which Vyasadeva has compiled, and at the same time, it is the super fast method, especially for Kali Yuga. So we are so fortunate, even though we are born in Kali Yuga, even though we have not, actually seeked spiritual process, so to say, we are not really seekers. But somehow or the other, by the causeless mercy of the Lord, we have come in touch with Srila Prabhupada, who is a bona fide spiritual master. And he has just given us the exact thing that we need to practice in our daily life, so that at the end of this very life, we can attain perfection. So we are very fortunate. This is real bhagya, like as per Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions. We are very fortunate. So the only thing that we have to be careful is we should not commit Vaishnava aparadha. We should not offend the devotees, and we should continue to practice devotional service. Chant Hare Krishna in a humble state of mind. And at the end of this very lifetime, by the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, we can actually go back to Godhead. As simple as that. Srila Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness process is simultaneously simple and sublime. It is simple because anybody can practice without any prerequisite qualifications. Anybody can practice. Whether one knows Krishna, one does not know Krishna, doesn't matter. Just he has to read Prabhupada books, chant Hare Krishna, follow the four regulative principles. That's all. You are Krishna conscious. Your devotional service, your chanting will be accepted by the Lord. And that is simple. And it is sublime. It is sublime because it is the result of all Vedic understanding, Vedic study. We are getting to practice that process which one understands after studying all the Vedas and after following all the various processes recommended in the Vedas. We are directly getting that process. Therefore, it is sublime. Many times, when some things are simple, we think it may not work. No, the process is simple, but it works very well. We should never doubt the process of Krishna consciousness at any time. It is only our shortcoming in the practice of the process that leads to delay in the perfection. But if we are very, very sincere, very diligently, we accept each and every instruction of Srila Prabhupada that he has given us in his books and lectures, then if we practice that, if we apply those instructions, definitely we will see that we are progressing in spiritual life. There is no doubt about it. It will become a self-evident fact. No one has to come and certify us. Oh, now you're making progress as a devotee. No. You yourself will feel. How do you feel? What are the symptoms by which you can recognize that you are advancing in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness? First of all, we develop distaste towards material sense enjoyment. That sense pleasure which was driving us crazy once upon a time, which was so attractive to us, will become pale and disinteresting when we make progress in spiritual life. If we are practicing Krishna consciousness and at the same time we are still getting attracted to sense pleasures, it means that we are not sincerely following the process. That's it. Prabhupada gives an example. If you touch a live wire, a live wire, bare conductor carrying current, you will immediately get shock. If you are touching it and if you are not getting shocked, that means you are not touching it properly. As simple as that. Right? So, when we sincerely follow, take guidance from devotees and follow the process of Krishna consciousness, definitely we will become distasteful towards material pleasures. That is one of the first symptoms of advancement in Krishna consciousness. And secondly, we start feeling satisfied just by serving Krishna. We feel so happy, we feel blissful. We don't have to depend on some external objects for our happiness. Just by serving Krishna, one becomes happy, one becomes completely satisfied. This is the symptom of an advancing devotee. And thirdly, as described by Lord Krishna himself in the sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, uh, even amidst the greatest difficulties, one will remain unshaken. These are all gradually. First, we will experience distaste towards material sense pleasure. Secondly, we become fixed up in devotional service. We develop satisfaction simply by serving Krishna in the association of devotees. Thirdly, even amidst the biggest challenge, biggest difficulty, one we remain unshaken. We remain without any, we don't get disturbed. Just like we see Prahlad Maharaj. Even amidst greatest difficulties, he is not disturbed at all. So these are the symptoms by which we can recognize how far or how close we are to the perfection of Krishna consciousness. So we should be very, very careful that what we have received, this Krishna consciousness, is a matchless gift, which it is described, Janma koti bhi sukrutair na labhyate. Rupa Goswami says, even after performing sukruti, pious activities for crores and millions of lifetimes, one will not get this process. One will not get this attraction to Krishna. And by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have just like that got it. Without extraneous efforts, we have got it. So therefore, it's a matchless gift. So we have to be very, very careful not to lose this matchless gift of Krishna consciousness. We may lose it because of our negligence, because of familiarity. Oh, I know this Krishna consciousness. Oh, from so many years I am practicing. Oh, I know devotees. No. We should be very, very sensitive while dealing with Krishna and his devotees. While dealing with the holy name, we should be super sensitive. Oh, the Lord is present on my tongue. He has given me yet another opportunity today to chant his holy names. Let me be fully attentive. Let me not do any other activity while chanting. This is called being sensitive in our relationship with the holy name. Even when we are serving the deity, we should be very, very sensitive. Oh, the Lord is so merciful. He has accepted this form, this transcendental form, Archa Vigraha, so that I get an opportunity to serve him. So I have to serve very diligently, following all the rules and regulations. I should be very careful that I don't perform any aparadha, seva aparadha, right? And even while dealing with devotees, the Vaishnavas, without association of Vaishnavas, it is not possible for us to progress in spiritual life. Many times we take the association of devotees for granted. Oh, every day it is available. Oh, every day online session is there. It's okay. Today, if I don't attend, it's okay. Or every week I'm going to the temple. Okay, this week if I don't meet Prabhu, it's okay. Or trying to find faults with devotees unnecessarily. Oh, this devotee is like that devotee is like that. So that makes us, Vaishnava aparadha is one of the greatest aparadhas. Aparadha means that which takes away the pleasure of the Lord. When you're trying to serve the Lord, those activities which take away, which bring displeasure to the Lord, that is called aparadha. And when the Lord is displeased, then our progress in spiritual life becomes very, very slow, very slackened. So, why one of the main reasons why there is no rapid progress in Krishna consciousness is knowingly or unknowingly we commit Vaishnava aparadha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called this Vaishnava aparadha as mad elephant disease. When a well maintained garden, which is full of plants and flowers, when a elephant enters that kind of a garden, a mad elephant enters, what happens is it simply tramples everything under its feet. So many years of efforts of maintaining that garden, in a few minutes, it will destroy completely. That is the effect of Vaishnava Parana. So many years and years of cultivation of faith and bhakti can be lost in a few moments when we blaspheme a devotee, or when we uh, find faults unnecessarily with a devotee, right? When we don't show proper respect to a devotee. So Krishna will be pleased when we respect his devotees, when we learn to deal properly with his devotees, then Krishna will be pleased. So one should not commit Vaishnava aparadha. So there is Nama aparadha, the offense against the holy name of the Lord, which are 10 in number, which have to be avoided. There is Seva aparadha, service to the deity when we are committing offenses against the deity, against the Lord. And there is Vaishnava aparadha, the offenses against a devotee of the Lord. And then there is Dhama aparadha, when we go to the holy Dham of the Lord or a temple of the Lord. There are certain protocols to be followed, like bowing down as soon as we enter the temple, or properly uh, maintaining the decorum of the place, not considering the dham to be a ordinary material place. You know, these are all offenses to be avoided against the dhama. So all of these are in detail described by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Srila Prabhupada lists all of these aparadhas in the Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada said Nectar of Devotion is the law book for all the devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement. So we have to follow, or we have to avoid these kind of offenses. Then, very surely, within this lifetime, we can attain perfection in our Krishna consciousness. We can go back to Godhead. We can attain Krishna Prema. We can attain the pure love of Godhead. So, therefore, this verse talks about Alpa Medhasaha, the less intelligent people of Kali Yuga, for whose sake Vyāsadeva appeared as the son of Satyavati and Parashara Muni, and he divided the one Veda into several branches and sub branches, so that the knowledge is disseminated to all categories of people. So Vyasadeva is also described in the Bhagavatam as Kripana Vatsala, one who is very compassionate towards the unintelligent people, the Kripanas, the misers, who do not utilize the human form of life to become a devotee of the Lord. They are called Kripanas. All of us practically, we are Kripanas. So therefore, Vyasadeva appeared out of his compassion in order to show mercy upon us, to give us the Vedic understanding, knowledge. Had Vyasadeva not compiled the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Puranas, had he not composed the Mahabharata, then we would not have actually received this Vedic knowledge through the Parampara system. Therefore, the bona fide spiritual master who comes in the Parampara system is actually a representative of Vyasadeva, and his seat is called Vyasa Asana. Vyasasana. He sits on the Vyasasana. Srila Prabhupada sits on the Vyasasana. Srila Prabhupada is a bona fide representative of Vyasadeva. And the birthday, the appearance day of the bona fide spiritual master is celebrated as Vyasa Puja in our Krishna consciousness uh, practice. The appearance of the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, is observed as Vyasa Puja. Why it is called Vyasa Puja? Not Srila Prabhupada Puja. It is called Vyasa Puja because Prabhupada is a sent person representative of Vyasadeva. Therefore, his appearance day is celebrated as Vyasa Puja. And also, the meaning of the word Vyasa. Vyasa means division. Since he divided the one Veda into many, he is called Vyasa. And he is also called as Dvaipayana because he appeared on a Dvipa. Dvipa means an island. An island in the Yamuna river. That is where Satyavati Devi gave birth to Vyasadeva. Therefore, he is known as Dvaipayana. He is also called as Krishna because he is a incarnation of the Lord. He is called the literary incarnation of the Lord. He is empowered incarnation and he is been specifically empowered by the Lord as a literary incarnation. Hmm? Literary means it is actually not possible for an ordinary person to compile the entire Vedas, to compile the Puranas, to compose Mahabharata. It is not possible for an ordinary human being unless he is specifically empowered by the Lord to do so. Therefore, Vyasadeva is called the literary incarnation of the Lord. He is a empowered incarnation of the Lord. So he is called Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. That is his full name, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. And this Vyasadeva, even though he is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, he is actually a disciple of Srila Narad Muni in the Parampara system. And Vyasadeva had compiled Mahabharata for the sake of Stri, Shudra, and Dvija Bandhus. Practically everybody in Kali Yuga who are not very spiritually intelligent. Vyasadeva compiled the Mahabharata, which is called Panchama Veda, the fifth Veda. The same subject matter which is there in the Vedas, Vyasadeva has given in a very easy, understandable manner in the Mahabharata through 1 lakh shlokas, 100,000 shlokas. So even after compiling such a great book called Composing Mahabharata, Vyasadeva was not satisfied. He was not satisfied. He was thinking something is lacking. I'm not satisfied. Then his spiritual master Narad Muni appears and he tells, "Oh Vyasadeva, yes, no doubt you have done a great job by compiling the Vedas and composing the Mahabharata, but you are not satisfied because you have not completely described the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in an uncompromising spirit. Yes, you have glorified Krishna in Mahabharata, but it is not complete glorification. You have not purely glorified. There and here you have glorified the Lord. Now, you compose one Vedic scripture where which is dedicated fully for glorifying the Supreme Lord Krishna in an uncompromising way. And you should fully describe about the pure devotional service. That will give you satisfaction and that will also give complete clarity for people in Kali Yuga. So upon these instructions from Narad Muni, Vyasadeva composed or compiled this Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavata Purana. Bhagavatam is such a wonderful, glorious Vedic literature that in an uncompromising spirit, Srila Vyasadeva completely describes about Lord Krishna and his pastimes. And by studying Srimad Bhagavatam, one will surely come to the point of pure devotional service. That is the purpose of this great literature. So we have to take advantage of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the most ripened fruit on the tree of Vedic wisdom, which Vyasadeva composed in his complete spiritual maturity. And it was spoken by Shukadev Goswami, who was a completely liberated soul. And we have the great fortune of every day hearing Bhagavatam. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Prabhupada made it as an institutional process that every day in ISKCON temples all over the world, Bhagavatam has to be discussed, Bhagavatam has to be studied and heard. Just by hearing Bhagavatam, one will actually develop all that which is unwanted will be driven out from the heart, and pure devotional service to the Lord will be established in our heart. That is the result of studying, hearing Bhagavatam. So we should take great pleasure in studying Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says in many places, for a devotee, Bhagavatam should become the life and soul. Devotee means for him the Bhagavatam should become the life and soul. It should become life and soul. Always we should be connected with Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, reading, describing. In this way, we can develop complete attraction to Krishna. In fact, one of the questions asked by the sages of Naimisharanya to Suta Goswami is, after Lord Krishna departed from this material world to his personal abode, where have the principles of dharma gone to take shelter? And the answer is, Suta Goswami says, it has taken shelter, the principles of dharma have taken shelter in this Bhagavatam. That means Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. If you have Bhagavatam in your house, Prabhupada says every gentleman, every devotee should have an entire set of Bhagavatam in his house. Having Bhagavatam in your house is as good as having Krishna in your house. There's no doubt. So we invest money for so many things, right? You may say, I'm reading online, but actually having the book at home is very, very glorious. It's very important. So therefore, we should have Bhagavatam, we should study Bhagavatam, hear Bhagavatam every day. At least our day should not go without hearing Bhagavatam. At least, it is said, at least one pada of a shloka, one quarter of a shloka, we should chant every day from Bhagavatam. Every day, without missing. Of course, not ritualistically chanting, understanding its meaning, we should chant. So then we can attain complete attachment to Krishna and progress in pure devotional service. With this, we'll close. Any questions or comments anybody has?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have one doubt. See, Lord Ramachandra came before Vedvyasa, right? But how come in this list Vedvyasa's name coming before Lord Ramachandra?
This is not a chronological list. I have already told this. This is not a chronological list.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. Is there any other question? Okay, so we'll close here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.